This is the Tigers Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Detroit Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
And the parade of misery continues. Welcome into a live Locked On Tigers postcast. I am your host, Jake Riepma. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake_Riepma. And if last night wasn't the worst night of the season, maybe this afternoon was. The Tigers lose to the Miami Marlins 6-4, the final in 11 innings. All kinds of missed opportunities. We'll go through that. I've read the comments, and everybody is as upset as I am, and all you can do now is hope to avoid the sweep, as the last 11 innings consisted of missed opportunity after missed opportunity. So buckle up, dial it in. This is the post-game destination for all things Detroit Tigers. Make sure you like today's video and subscribe, because there's nothing to like about the team's performance, so you might as well like the video. And as always, today's episode free and available wherever you get your podcast, and of course on YouTube. It is all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team each and every day. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And I'm really just stalling because I don't want to get into this game because it made me that upset. The Tigers have lost 2 in a row to the Marlins and 3 in a row overall after feeling pretty good after that Yankees series, taking 2 of 3. The good feelings are gone. The good vibes are gone. And it's back to covering a miserable baseball team. We begin where we always begin, our biggest talking point, what you'd tell somebody about today's game and how you would sum it all up. It's our talking point.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Anytime you go to extra innings with the wonky format of a runner on second, you're going to have some opportunities. But when you're the Detroit Tigers and you fail to cash in on said opportunities to the tune of leaving guys on with no regards to playing the game the right way, you just let a team like the Marlins hang around, and eventually in the home half of the 11th, it's going to be a Johnston home run to center, a 2-run bomb to end it. And a bullpen, the bullpen wasn't even terrible by any means. I mean, you look at the box score in this one, the Marlins, they score the 1 run in the 6th, but after that, just no score all the way through until the 11th, and the 3 runs in the home half of the 11th to seal it for the Marlins. Just so many frustrating instances in this one where you're just scratching your head, and it brings you back to wondering if you can even buy stock in this team. If there's anything that can happen between now and playoff time to feel good about this Tigers team moving into the postseason. And I don't know how you get to that point, especially after a night like tonight. So I've read the comments. Everybody's frustrated. And so I think we just go one by one and knock them out. We all see what we have to say about this one, because I'm at a loss in the sense that this Tigers team is playing like a little league baseball team out there in these first 2 games against the Miami Marlins. And depending on where you want to pick and kind of go through it with a fine-tooth comb and cherry pick instances in which the Tigers were really bad tonight, you can. And that's the just fact of the matter about it. So with that said, as always, we open it up for comments, because this was a game you could have very easily won. And, Montero's going to get the tough luck loss, of course, but looking at the way this game kept setting itself up, waiting for the Tigers to take it, and they just didn't. And it's so, so frustrating, because these are games. And again, the magic number thing, I know I joke about it, and we're getting closer and closer here as we move through the month of September to the season being over, and we're on the countdown and everything else. And is this game going to end up costing you down the stretch for an American League Central? Probably not. Are you still going to get a top 2 seed to avoid having to play the wild card series? Hopefully, but games like today where you just give it all away is so frustrating. Charlie Morton goes 4 innings. He allows 2 earned runs, gives up the 3 hits. Melton gives up 1 earned run in 3 innings. Canely was good tonight. Will Vest was good tonight. And then it's just Montero down the stretch, which again, Tigers should have had that game won before all of this. So Sean leads us off saying this is just as brutal base running and 10 bases loaded in the 10th bases loaded, 1 out, and Torque runs home for no reason. Yeah, Torque, I see the comments. I know there's a lot of people that are not big Torque fans on this podcast, and I understand that. That's a part of the conversation, but tonight was bad. There's no defending what happened in the 10th inning. And if you just break it down and go through it, it's like what you just keep going back to. This is like little league mistakes. So Parker Meadows gets to third after Torres flies out, and then Carpenter can't strike out there. I mean, you just can't have that. And then of course Green pops out, and then in the 11th with Riley Green starting on second, Torque gets the single, Green over to third, Perez doubles to score Riley Green, Torque to third, and that's when just all hell breaks loose. They intentionally walked Keith, Dingler strikes out, and then Jones into hit for Sweeney. Torkelson out at home on the fielder's choice. There's just no purpose for that. And from there, you can intentionally walk Jones, and Meadows then strikes out, and it's such it's just, I'm pulling my hair out just thinking about it. So you can't, and Sean makes a good point here. Sean Gray, you can't get out there. This team drives me nuts. You beat the Yankees, and then Miami makes you look like a little league team. That's exactly what I'm saying. Kevin Jeffrey saying we need to dispatch Tigers personnel to clean out the office. Demetrius McNeil says, Jake, bases loaded with no outs and you're scoring a run, trying to do too much with the swinging strikes. You're asking for trouble. The Tigers are in big trouble. Come back next game. I do think the Tigers are in big trouble. It's a good way to put it. Gray Matter says the Tigers might be a top 5 team in the AL, but by National League standards, they wouldn't even be a wild card team. I can't argue with any of this. I don't think I agree with Kevin Jeffrey here saying the Guardians are winning the Central. I'm not quite there, but it's going to turn into a race down the stretch. Thomas Rotondi's blaming AJ Hinch. Javi Baez Prod says, man, do we miss Finnegan? We sure do. We miss Kyle Finnegan. And it's just, it's everybody has a reason to be upset and air your grievances. And I want this podcast to be exactly that. And I don't know how do you keep the walls from caving in around this Tigers team, but I'm there. I am absolutely there with everybody else. Jack, it's a good point here. We like losing to last place teams. It really is. And I agree with this one from Braylon Dennis. Scott Harris needs to be held accountable. His job is to make this team better. And so far he hasn't. We are still the same team from last year, aside from Gleyber Torres. Yeah. Yep. I get to the point where I want to bring some sort of unique perspective, but at the same time, I'm not going to make something up to try to feel different about where we are as a baseball team. It's just infuriating that it's gotten to this point, and there's no other way to put it. And I got a big sneeze coming. Sorry. That's why we do it live. There's no cough button on the YouTube stream. There's no sneeze button. There's no anything. I'm good. Sorry about that. Man. All right, let's take a quick break. The sneeze is a good segue into a break, and let's keep the lights on here on Locked On, and we'll be right back in just a moment. Today's episode of the Locked On Tigers Postcast is brought to you by Nutrafol. You've probably seen a million ads for hair growth products and thought, sure, like that actually works. There are so many products out there, and it's hard to know which ones are actually going to do anything. That's why you should give Nutrafol a closer look. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. And it's not just hype. This is a supplement clinically tested that targets the root cause of thinning and shedding with a proactive approach. You know what? If you're at work, or maybe you're out with your friends, or even just getting ready in the morning, Nutrafol gives you more confidence in your daily routine. And right now, you can see thicker, stronger hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering Locked On MLB listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code Locked On MLB. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code Locked On MLB. Today's episode of the Locked On Tigers postcast is also brought to you by our good friends at FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. And I love using FanDuel. It fits however you like. You bet player props and a same-game parlay, or even jumping in on the live action as it all unfolds. It doesn't get any better than that. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app right now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. Listen, I'm not going to lie. The rest of tonight's Locked On Tigers postcast, it is kind of just a you-know-what fest, because that's where we were with tonight, and really just an entire disappointing second half. And by second half, I mean post All-Star break, because this team, we saw it coming. We saw the writing on the wall, and I said it. A lot of people said it, and now everybody's nightmares are coming true. And that's where the format of an MLB season, with it being as long as it is, you can feel so good for an extended period of time about this team. Think of all the highs we had from this season, all the awesome post-game shows where you feel like you're on top of the world. This team can't lose at home, and this, that, and the other. And now it just feels so meh, so blah, so meaningless because of the current state of this Tigers team. And, last night with Scuba going out early, and then tonight with the missed opportunities and unable to win it in extra innings, it's just so infuriating. And other than just being overly negative and pointing out all the areas in which this team is cooked, they're so cooked, I just don't know where else to go with it. And so I apologize if it sounds repetitive. It sounds like a broken record, and I'm not bringing anything new to the table. It's just how I feel. And I don't know if it's AJ Hinch has to do something. I don't know if it's player led. Something's got to be done if this team expects to make the turn. Let's get into the turning point.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Of course, the turning point's the top of the 11th. The Tigers needed to get more runs there. They didn't. And in a game where it just felt like you continuously are getting closer and closer to that point of giving the game away, and the harsh reality of what this game was going to turn into, it finally reared its ugly head in that 11th inning. And I know other people feel that that same way, and that's why they're making their presence known in the comments. And I appreciate that, because like Tubby Nugget, the guinea pig, says here, this was a big disappointing second half, and Harris didn't do enough to prevent this. Hinch needs to chew the team out. His stupid style isn't working. Calm, boring. We will be ready. BS. That's how I feel too. And maybe we look back on this again. We'll remember September 13th. We'll remember the whole weekend and think, was this the time that the Tigers, we panicked and they didn't, or something to that effect, because if they get into the playoffs, regardless, however it may be, like, there's an element of hoping for the best, sure. But at the same time, it feels so far away. And that is being a winning team. How about our player of the game?
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Straight night, we got to go with a player for the Marlins, and the guy who has the walk-off home run and 2 on the day is an easy pick. Troy Johnston gets the player of the game nod from the Locked On Tigers postcast staff, because he was the best player. The 2 home runs, and of course the walk-off winner is enough to seal it. So Bummer of a day. Bummer of a series so far in Miami. Hopefully we shake it off and avoid the sweep tomorrow. Busy day tomorrow. We've got Locked On Tigers post-game shows, Locked On Lions post-game show as well. So busy all the way around. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you like today's video. Check out Locked On Tigers with Scott Bentley. Thanks so much for everybody for being on the show, even on a busy college football Saturday. If you missed Locked On Wolverines, you can go check that out over on the Locked On Wolverine page as well. And of course, make sure you like the Locked On Tigers page as well. So we'll be with you tomorrow. Timing may depend on the Lions game because the Locked On Lions post-game show is with two other people. So that is going to be immediately following the Lions game. And then we'll get the Locked On Tigers post-game show up there as well. Thanks so much for tuning in. Love you guys. See you.